Well, I really don't call myself a financial guru, but I tend to give advice from time to time. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome if you're new. I'm Rogan, and this is my rant. We believe in the diversity of thought here on this channel. These are ideas just to be meant, they're just meant to be worth sharing. They're not meant to be concrete advice. Make sure you do your own homework and due diligence and never blindly listen to any random guy on YouTube, including this guy with his home safe shirt on. All right. So this video is going to be about financial gurus in general. So I'm basically building off of the clout I gained from the Dave Ramsey video, and yeah, so I'm never gonna really make another video about Dave Ramsey. He's actually helped a lot of people get out of debt with his no nonsense or like whatever he calls it. So he's done a lot of good, but he's done some bad, but he's also done a lot of good. So I got to give him credit for the good things he's done. So financial gurus, we love them or you hate them. They, over the years, over the past 5 or 6 years, I've got a lot of advice from these people. Now, are they perfect? No, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. They're not perfect. No one's perfect. So, they say, dollar cost average or invest regularly with every paycheck into the S&P 500. They stress dividend stocks. Some of them are more precious metal heavy. Some of them are more crypto heavy. They'll talk more about crypto on their channel, or they'll talk more about just the stock market on their channel. Or some of the really good ones, they'll talk about everything. So it all depends. And certain channels, they're like, it's like, oh, why I'm selling this stock, or like why I'm buying, and they're meant to just get clicks and stuff like that. So just don't like jump the gun on some of that type of stuff. Be aware of that type of clickbaity content. But some of the financial gurus recently they've promoted their sponsors. They've promoted these uh, brokerages or these services that like for crypto or stocks, and and then sometimes they have some of their own products like a Patreon or like a coffee company or like a apparel like clothes and stuff like that. That's fine. But when it comes to their sponsors, sometimes they don't really know that they're pitching a product that the company is will be scummy in the future. So it's not all on them. But sometimes maybe they should have done a little bit more research before they pushed this sponsorship, having a 30 to 1 minute second 1 minute clip in their 15 to 20 minute video describing this product. Maybe they should have just done a little bit more research, but it's not all their fault. So they'll say it's not financial advice, but it is. They have a lot more money than you and I. They have like big houses, big car, like expensive cars. They have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, invested in the market. Same thing goes for crypto or metal and stuff like that. So they tend to give advice, and they're like, well, this is how I did it, and that's not exactly bad advice, but you have to do what works best for you. Now, I don't say that at the beginning of every video, but I'm gonna work on giving less like advice, and I'm gonna try to preface some of the things I say in my videos, like this is what I'm doing, this is what works for me. If you think it can work for you, do your own research. I don't want to say like, oh, you should do this, that, and this, because these financial gurus, they'll tell you to do this. But let's just give an example. Okay, they'll say, well, dollar cost average into an S&P 500 ETF or some of your favorite dividend stocks every paycheck. That's not bad advice. But if your other bills aren't covered, or you physically can't put $50 into an account like that, make sure it's commission free. Obviously, don't do the E-Trade and all these like we charge a fee like because we're dinosaurs. But sometimes people can't do that, and then they invest, and that you should only invest what you're willing to lose. But you only lose money when you sell, like, right? You only lose if you bought a position at $50 and it went down to 45. You're like, oh man, I lost this money. Gotta sell it. And it's like, no, you don't, because you only lose money when you sell it, or you only gain money when you sell it. So the longer you hold it, that's. And just like I said previously, I'm not supposed to give advice, but I just gave advice. But what I do, this is what I do. I dollar cost average sometimes, but most of the time, I only put money in when I want to. Right? I know that sounds weird, but let me explain. What I do is let's just say I'll get 4 paychecks a month, and I'll pay all my bills and that type of stuff. and then I'll put money in savings, and then I'll buy a little bit of silver, maybe gold here or there, whatever, and I'll be like, wow, I've put away $400. And I don't typically put 100 after 100 after 100 or 50 after 50 after 50 after every week. I like to take care of all my bills. And then I was like, well, this month my bills were a little higher, so I'm going to put 200 in the market this month. Well, I was more conservative this month. 400's going in this month. No, and then they all say that maybe that's not the best way to do it, because they say you always want to put the same amount in time after time after time and have it build 7 to 10% a year. And then they're talking about the S&P 500. I'm more of like a Nasdaq, but I still have my IRA with S&P, but I do more of my active portfolio management on with the Nasdaq tech stocks and a couple other dividend stocks, but not a lot, not as much as I used to. But then again, I'm sounding like one of the gurus, and I do recognize that, which is quite funny. But they give good advice, but just remember that when they give that advice, it's not always the best advice for you. If you're person A and then you have person B through L, then it might work for person D, E, and F. But all the other people, they're like, well, it doesn't really work for me. They're just doing their best, trying to give the best advice they can, and it works for a lot of people. But it doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody, because remember, they're the ones who are loaded. They're the ones that have very deep pockets, and then they have their sponsors that want them to push these products and stuff like that, so they do that. And it's not always the best advice, because, like I said at the beginning of the video, do your own homework and due diligence. So, because you have to figure out what works best for you. You could watch some of your favorite financial gurus, like they call them Finfluencers, like influencers finance. You could listen to some of your favorite influencers, but really, really think about what they're saying. If they offer 10 pieces of advice in one video, 3 of those, that makes sense. That really applies to me. I'll do my own research on those. But then if they say do X, Y, and Z and you don't agree with it, really think about it. All right. Hope you guys liked the video. Remember to smash that dislike if you did not like the video. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of the day. I'll see you next time.